Hey, Brand 5 Garage. I'm here. Got some motor going in the truck. This is going to be a good one. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so as you saw, we now have the motor almost in. We had to add motor mounts because the old motor had this goofy little thing that won't work for this motor. Well, it would, but it's dumb. So I'll show you what we're doing with this. So in time lapse, you guys saw us getting this to this point. As you can tell, it's not in. There's still tension here. And these guys are just hanging up here. So we need to clear out all the rear end stuff to get this all the way in. However, these are going to be the new motor mounts, and they are kind of cool looking. They are way nicer than everything else. However, they're going in. So what we need to do is we need to get this lower down in here. I don't know why I put my hand under that, because if that falls, that would hurt. And then there's a piece of 1-inch square tubing. This was on some article that Sean saw. So the 1-inch square tubing will go under this. We'll bolt through that and through the frame. We might tack that tubing onto the frame so that it doesn't, well, fall off. Slide this back in, get her down, get her in, get her done. That's that with this. So once we get the motor in, we're just going to worry about getting the motor mounts set, and then we're going to pull the motor out, paint it all, get it all fancy schmancy. We also hooked up a transmission to it. Rattlecan 4L60E. That orange paint was not from us. Ours wouldn't be peeling yet. I mean, give it a week or two, but nope, not peeling yet. So it's a 4L60. He also has a 700R4 in that bag right there, but I think we're going to use this. So that's together. We do have to pull this back out, however, and put a torque converter in there. We just are doing this to mock it up, get it where we want it. We also have to build a tranny cross member. So we'll get to that when we get to that. I'll talk about what else we're going to do. So the rear suspension on this is in the way of everything. Same with the driveline. So we're just going to pull it all out. Sean ordered new, I think they're called trailing arms. He ordered new rear end, everything. The truck that's rusty is going to be sweet underneath. But he got all new stuff, so we're waiting on that to get here. Once that gets here, we can get it all in. However, we do need to get all the old junk out. So I'll show you what's going on there. Okay, I'm currently laying on my side in some dirt next to the truck. So this arm here, gone. Rear end, gone. Driveline coming out. Probably not going to reuse that, but we are going to get it out because it's in the way of getting the transmission all the way in over in that region. So got to get all this out too. Hopefully that new stuff comes in before I have to post this video, because I like to get it in. It should just bolt right in, but it probably won't, because it's just how things work around here. I forgot to mention, you guys saw it in time lapse, we got the new gas tank in. It is nifty. The only issue is the sending unit that went in there, this fitting was a little bit bigger than that guy that's in the truck already. So we're going to pull the old sending unit out and then have that work, since we know that works with that. And then if we have to do some redneck thing or whatever, we will. So this is in. It's good. Sticks out nice and nifty here. And like we both wanted, the old gas cap works. So we're going to try to find some new rubber grommet thing in there so that that crusty guy doesn't leak a bunch of stuff down in it. So this is moving along great. We got that in. Transmission, you can see here. Had to bag it in case it bled everywhere. So this drive line's obviously in the way. So once we get that out of the way, we'll be making a lot better progress. All right, I said in the last episode I'd get the interior done. However, I am dealing with like a influenza, sickness, cold, sinusy, fungus, virus thing, sickness, cold. So I don't really want to inhale a bunch of paint fumes and lead-based stuff with the other stuff in it that'll, you know, congestalize me. So we're holding off on that till I feel better so that I can do it and then I can get sick again. So common sense. Also, one other thing we noticed on this truck, I've showed you guys this duct tape grease cap in the past. Well, it wasn't really doing its job. That thing moves a good, probably, I don't know if you can tell, but it moves a good ½ inch, the whole hub. So it's a good thing we got new spindles coming. We got 5 lugs set up coming, and we got new wheels coming. All right. Also, Sean got a bunch of new parts, and so we'll go over what he got, and then we'll start working on, we'll probably pull that rear end out, get that motor set in there, get those motor mounts mounted, and then build something. Who knows? Okay, unexcited. That's a torque converter. That is a 700R4 that we may or may not use, probably not using. This is the old gauge cluster. Sean has new gauges coming. We might have to use this ring, which is going to be painted, so that's why that's out. Bunch of new bolts to mount all that stuff together. This might be, oh, this is like an overflow tank for the fancy schmancy new radiator, which I'll show you here in a sec. This would be a GM flex plate from ATP Automotive. We also have a high performance cooling fan from Spa Automotive USA. High performance, like race car stuff, sounds like. This is going to be for, well, that piece, that little 1 inch is going to be for the motor mounts. That was just because, and this big piece might be the tranny cross member. We may or may not need to use that. So that's new stuff. What else we got? I don't know if I showed you guys this guy yet. It's a Champion Radiatoire. Yeah, Champion. It's upside down. Warning. But yeah, that's going in. That's way too shiny. Whoa. Showed you guys that in the last episode. If you didn't see that, go check that out, because that's a nice steering wheel. I'm not going to show you. You got to go back and watch the other one. Nice flywheel dust cover. Nice Speedway box. It had a sticker in it, so that's good. We got the Grant steering wheel thingamabobber there. There's a nice starter in there we might use. Oh, a snail, huh? Don't know what that's for. I know what that's for. Whole bunch of paschetti, or spaghetti noodles, aka wiring, that I'm just going to look at and let Sean do, because that gives me a headache. We got a new gauge cluster. So we pulled those old gauges out you guys saw prior to painting. I'm still healing. My lungs hurt, so I'm not going to paint the interior yet. We might paint this. Chrome looks cool, but nothing else is really chrome on the truck. So we have those. I don't even know what's in these boxes, but Sean says it's something cool. So Pole Inc. Performance Online. There's something that goes to something else. So we got those. We also have... it was under the gauge cluster. So this is a tranny mount. So we can build a tranny crossmember now to permanently mount that in, or have permanent mounting points. Get it in and be done with that so that we can start getting it running. Obviously, we have to pull it out and paint it because the blue doesn't look very, well, it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look as good as the red we're going to go with. I think the red will kind of contrast these two. And it might just look like a chocolate sundae with the strawberry on top, or I mean a cherry on top, or whatever they put on top. Peaches, my hair is getting long. All right, the one thing I know we are waiting on is the suspension and the wheelies. So suspension was ordered. It's like they have it, but they haven't sent it yet, but they're sending it. Should be here this week, maybe next week, maybe never. And then the wheels, those are going to be here hopefully this week. They came in and then they had the wrong caps, and then Sean needed tires. So they're at the tire shop getting that whole situation figured out. So once that's figured out, we'll have those and we can show them off. It's going to be splendid. Maybe this episode, probably next episode. But yeah, so we'll get the rear suspension torn out of this thing. I'll show you guys all the components of that. It's pretty hefty. This thing could have towed a tank. We'll get that pulled out, and then we'll get nothing put in because I don't have anything yet. So the good news is these bolts things that I got to pull out of the trailing arm things are the last two bolts before we start building it up. Done some build up, like door panels, but that's it. Okay, so obviously the motor's not permanently gonna in its spot. It's just in there temporarily until because we got to pull it out and paint it and all that other cool stuff. So if you look right here, these are the nifty new, let me wipe this off. Oh, that's better. These are the nifty new motor mounts Sean bought. They're for like a 70 or 68, 72 C10, I think. And he saw this conversion on some like Motor Trend or something. So basically it connects to the cross member right there. You run a bolt through it, and then you use a piece of 1-inch tubing to make up the difference to fill that gap. Drill through there. So we'll mark those. We'll drill through there. We'll get the motor mount in place, pull the motor out. Oh, we also have to build the training cross member. This is trailing arms to the rear end. For the axle, we don't have yet. However, I'm going to open that, see what we have. I'm hoping that's bushings and bolts to bolt it in because the other ones are not coming out and they're rusty, so they might get cut. But yeah, we'll open those up. We'll see what's inside. Holy smokes, Sean got some really nice parts for this. I don't even think he knows how nice these are. Glad he's paying for the parts because I got $7 to my name. All right, you guys saw me open them up. Little box contained some sweet little pedestals here. So these clamp down over the spring when we get the spring in. These are trailing arms and then coil springs, and these hold them down, I'm assuming. These are extremely nice. They're like billet aluminum. They look like they've like been lathed, and oh my Lanta, those are cool. So we got those. Something shiny. That's scary. There's one right there because I was going to show you guys all together, but I didn't. These trailing arms are so sweet. I hope they're for a long bed. They look long bedish. Gotta get the other ones out to confirm it, but yeah, these are just, I mean, beautiful, right? I mean, shiny, way too nice for us. That's broken, so that's not good. I don't know what that's for. I don't like that. So, get some brake lines or something. Yeah, that might be an issue, but we'll figure that out. Just hammer it and paint it. It also came with bushings, I believe. Yep, right here. So some brand new rubber bushings. So we'll have to get those bad boys in before we get these guys in. Okay, so showed you the trailing arms. Here's the goal. We're going to try to get all this stuff out. We've obviously gotten the driveline out so far. We got to get the one trailing arm bolt is being dumb. They're both being dumb, but one won't spin. So now that I know we have those, we might just cut it with a Sawzall or grinder or these. Once we get those trailing arms out, we can kind of clean it up, maybe throw some paint up there, make it look decent. And then we'll get these new trailing arms in. Hopefully they're parallel and for a long bed because math. The wheelbase would be unmathematically, it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. So we're going to do that. That's the plan. I'm winded. That took 2 hours today, probably 5 hours total between me and Sean to get one bolt. We got all the other bolts. We had to get one bolt. Might just have a cold. Ow. That was rough. All right. Still panting like my dog. However, there is nothing in there and it's all right there. Oops, you can kind of see it. This is from the driver's side of the truck. We got all that out. We just got to get these shocks out. That should be, I'm not going to say easy because nothing's been easy. We finally got it out. We're waiting on the rear end suspension stuff. I can probably put those trailing arms in. I got to press the thingamabobbers into them. Yeah, thingamabobbers, technical term. Once I get those thingamabobbers in, with my press right there, gotta move the old photolyzing chair. Once I get those pressed in, I can mount them in here, and then we're just waiting for a rear end. I was gonna do it all together, but we don't know how long until the new rear end gets here. And with everything taking 17 times as long to get here, I just gotta get some stuff done. So once the trailing arms are in, we can align the rear end. I'll just put them in loose. We'll see. And then hopefully get the rear end, get it in. So I'm gonna get those things built, and we'll go from there. Also, these are the cup spring holder things that replace those. Yeah, I'd call it an upgrade. All right, guys, well, I've showed you the parts. We've got the motor in. We did some other stuff. We got a lot of things to do, but I'm gonna do those in the next episode. Sorry I didn't get an episode out for like 2 weeks, maybe 3, depending on when I release this one. It sucks, I know, I'm mad about it, but life gets in the way. You guys know how that works. This isn't a full-time thing for me. I work a full-time job, I work 12, so getting out here with a little kiddo is kind of hard, but I'm here and I'm working on it. So that's in. I'm gonna build the tranny crossover probably in the next one, do a bunch of other cool stuff in the next one. We have a ton of parts coming in. We also have wheels in. They're at Sean's house all the way about 100 feet from my house across the street. So we'll show you guys what we ended up going with, probably the next one. I appreciate you guys watching. Brand 5 Garage, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'm out.